Hello everyone, this is Narmada. I am going to share my knowledge on the topic capital structure, which is the main topic under the financial management subject. And we people generally we know that one of the objectives of financial management is wealth maximization. So since the financial manager is responsible to procure all the required funds for a firm from different sources. So for that he has to select a proper financial mix or proper capital structure which should be maximize the shareholders' wealth. So for designing the correct capital structure, that's called as a optimum capital structure, he need to require such a mix of different sources of finance so that your cost of capital should be minimum and your return should be at maximum. Every individual or every company, their ultimate goal is to minimize the cost and maximize the return. So in such a way, the capital structure have to be framed properly by the finance manager in a company. So capital structure, structuring your capital of a company is very important to minimize your cost of capital. First, let's see the meaning of a capital structure. So here in this slide, capital structure refers to the mix of sources from where the long-term funds required in a firm may be raised. So that is, what should be the proportion of equity share capital, what should be the proportion of preference share capital and internal sources, debentures and other sources of funds in the total amount of capital which a firm may raise for establishing its business. To put it in simple, capital structure means you're structuring your capital by different sources of funds. Generally, the sources we know is shares, debentures, long-term debt, reserves and surplus or retained earnings. So these are all the different sources of funds. So the mix of different sources of funds is nothing but the capital structure. Then the definition given by Ernst and Berg is capital structure refers to the kinds of securities that make up the capitalization. So it is nothing but the composition of all long-term sources. Long-term sources, namely we can call as debentures, long-term debt, preference share capital, equity share capital, that also will include reserves and surplus. So these are all the long-term funds. And Ernst and Berg give the word kinds of securities. Securities is nothing but the sources, different sources of funds. Your stock, your shares, it's nothing but the kinds of securities. So definition given by Ernst and Berg is capital structure refers to the kinds of securities that make up the capitalization. So this was the meaning and definition of capital structure. And the next important concept is optimum capital structure. So here the capital structure is said to be optimum capital structure when the firm has selected such a combination of equity and debt so that the wealth of a firm is maximum. To put it in simple, the finance manager have to select a proper mix, select a right mix of equity and debt. If equity is 60%, debt should be 40%. If debt is 60%, equity should be 40%. So the finance manager, after doing a proper survey, he have to fix the right mix of equity and debt, and that financial mix should minimize your overall cost of capital and it should be maximize the return. But there was a question, but always it's not possible to fix a optimum debt and equity mix. It is very difficult to find out the optimum debt and equity mix, because the capital structure would be optimum, because it is difficult to measure a fall in the market value of an equity share because of the risk due to high debt content in the capital structure. If you are going on increasing your debt content in your capital structure, it will affect your cost of equity. Cost of equity will keeping on increasing. So to a certain level, you can increase your debt content in your capital structure. If you are increasing your debt capital in capital structure, you have to pay a finance. You have to pay a debt. You have to repay the debt along with the interest. That will come under the financial risk. So the financial risk will be high. So the shareholders will expect a high return, and that high return will lead to a high or increase in the cost of equity. So optimum capital structure, it's the capital structure at which the weighted average cost of capital should be minimum, and thereby maximizing your value of the firm. That structure is called as a optimum capital structure. So simple, to be simple, it should be a proper and right mix of equity and debt. So because of this right mix, you can lower the cost of capital, you can maximize the wealth of the investors. I hope you all understood the meaning of capital structure and the optimum capital structure. Thank you.